and Assalamualaikum. My name is Nur Ashraf binti Yusof. My matric number is ACT4002. Our topic for this assignment is Japan in perspective of political, economic and legal system. For the background, in this case study, we will discuss about the difference in political, economic and legal system in Japan. Political, economic and legal system differ between nations. Their current economic state and direction for future growth are very different. Both cultural traditions and population education and skill levels can differ substantially. All of these different have a significant impact on how international business is conducted and frequently do. They have a massive effect on the advantage, disadvantage and dangers of conducting business in other countries, as well as on how operation in multiple countries should be managed and the approach that multinational corporations should take in various countries. Political system can be evaluated along two aspects. The first is the extent to which they value collectivism above individualism. The second factor is whether they are democratic or totalitarian. Individualism and collectivism is a philosophy that emphasizes the importance of group aims over individual ones. Its origins can be traced back to the Greek philosopher Plato. Collectivism is now supported by socialists. When collectivism is prioritized, the requirements of society as a whole are considered as more vital than individual liberties. On the political spectrum, democracy and totalitarianism are opposites. A market economy, a common economy, and a mixed economy are three primary types of economic system. Price control are absent in a market economy and private ownership predominates. In a common economy, the government owns the producing assets, private ownership is prohibited, and prices are controlled by central planners. Both a market economy and a common economy are present in a mixed economy. Difference in the structure of law between countries can have important implications for international business practice. The extent to which property rights are safeguarded varies greatly between countries, as do product safety and liability legislations, as well as the type of contract law. According to Acemoglu and Robinson, the Japanese approach appears to be equivalent to that of the United Kingdom in that political developments, supported by legal developments, led to industrial revolution. There were indeed similarities between Japan and the United Kingdom. However, distinctive element cannot be overlooked in the Japanese system, where parliament history was relatively brief and the premise of the rule of law was a new thing.
Assalamualaikum and hi, my name is Nur Aisha binti Azmi. My matric number is 58232. My part is my case issue. Okay, the economy of Japan is still bad shape since it has been able to fully recover to the level of economic performance it previously had in 1980s. Since that time, Japan's economy has been classified as being in deflation, with absolutely no prospect for recovery, not even with government intervention. After 20 years, it was anticipated that Japan's economy would have fully recovered, but this was not the case, and the country has now re-entered the cycle of economic deflation. Japan's economy eventually hit its lowest point ever after collapsing and stagnating as a result of COVID-19. In other words, that Japanese economy is currently in its most dire state ever. The nation's economy rebounded much like how the COVID-19 pandemic led to a severe global economic calamity. 2.6% increase in 2021 according to the IMF, driven by strong export, consumer demand and then investment. Despite continued due to the global upsurge in COVID-19 infection, in this year, the IMF forecast is 3.2% increase in GDP, helped by the inclusion of the regional trade agreement for the comprehensive economic partnership. and 1.4% in 2023, the highest is in Japan. The cumulative to GDP ratio is expected to decrease over the projection period, according to the IMF. To 2.3% in 2022, and then to 0.8% in 2023. In 2021, it is predicted to be 256.9%. Each country has had to reform its economy and political structure as a result of COVID-19, which not only has an impact on health but also on economy and politics in each nation. It will take some time for this to stabilize their system once again, particularly with Japan. At the same time, Japan has long struggled with several deflation issues because of extremely advanced technologies advancement. Japan's politics have entered a state of turmoil as a result and of an unexpected situation that developed. The government was criticized by the public for how it handled the pandemic and for its decision to hold the 2020 Olympic Games. Even though the majority of the public opposed the decision out of concern that it would lead to unrest.
Okay, hi. Now, my name is Nurinta Shaina binti Najib. My matrix number is S58279. I continue with political, economy, and legal system in Japan, which is country, political, economy, and legal system are all unique. Because each country is unique in many ways, international business is far more challenging than domestic business. Okay, political in Japan. The ruling Liberal Democratic Party (LDP) has controlled the Japanese politics since its foundation in 1955, a phenomenon known as the 1955 system. Political in Japan have 2 points, which is collectivism and individualism, and also democracy and totalitarianism. For collectivism, Japan, for example, has a relative monocultural culture. More than 98% of the population is ethnic Japanese, and it has formed as a result of the majority of the population having the same education, experience, and awareness of their surrounding. Why? For individualism, this means that in Japanese society, providing present and entertaining customer with a night on the town is acceptable. When the Japanese business society visit leader in the United States, they should be aware of this. They will travel a significant distance. Next, for democracy, Japan's democracy is a hybrid political system, including characterism of both the U.S. model of a Supreme Court and a written constitution. Why totalitarianism? This is due to the fact that despite the absence of a fascist party in power, Imperial Japan clearly fitted the description of totalitarian fascism. Slow motion fascist revolution occurred in Japan as well.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Muhammad Fidaus bin Sazali. My matrix number S58839. The Japanese economy functions on the principle of a highly developed free market. It's ranked third in the world in terms of nominal GDP. fourth in terms of purchasing power rating, and second in terms of the size of developed economies throughout the globe. Both the G7 and the G20 include Japan as a member nation, the International Monetary Fund. The Japan Exchange Group is the world's third biggest stock exchange by market capitalization, and Nike 225 is a monthly report that highlights the finance equity trade on the Japan Exchange Group. In 2018, Japan had the position of being world's fourth biggest import and fourth largest exporter respectively. Japan is ranked as one of the most inventive nations in the world and lead the pack in various index of global patent application. It is also the country which has the greatest electronic sector, which put it in third place as the world's largest manufacturer of automobiles. Japan's manufacturing sector is presently primarily concentrated on precision goods with modern technologies such as optic, hybrid car, and robot in order to compete with the likes of China and South Korea, who are two of primary competitors.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Ahmad Luqman bin Omar. My metric number is S59800. In this slide, I will talk about the legal system in Japan. Japan legal system is based on civil law, but over time, the element of the Chinese law, Western civil law, and common law has been incorporated into the Japan legal frameworks. In other words, many other countries have all contributed into shaping the legal system in Japan. Japan adapted the constitution and the 5 major codes. There is number 1 is civil, number 2 is civil procedure, number 3 is criminal, number 4 is criminal procedure, and number 5 is commercial. Also, in every field of law, there is also a very significant body of published case law that interpreted the fundamental important and is carefully monitored by the lawyer and the legal academics. In the context of the regulation, the foreign company want to operating in Japan must comply with a variety of Japanese rules and regulations, such as those pertaining to taxation, employment, importing, and foreign investment, real estate, and banking. That's all from me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Ahmad Adi Maiman, Piano Saliuddin, with the matrix number S57997. So aftermath of the World War II, Japan has been recovering from its own destruction through the war by becoming one of the powerful nation in the world stage in terms of political, economic, and society background. So Japan has maintained to become a third largest world economy, which is something that was incredibly achieved through its innovations and economic system, which by either ways has been influenced the world as we know today through their products such as automobile, product of Toyota, Nissan, and Mitsubishi, which can be said found around the world. Even though they become third largest world economy, they also have facing some setbacks. They have facing some stagnation after their economy bubble burst in 1990s. Since then, they never fully recovered to their fully original potential in economy levels, and they are facing stagnation, and things get worse with COVID-19 that hitting hard right now, which means the economy is now getting more another serious issue, which is deflation. Well, in terms of politicals, Japan's facing some unique political history here, since while they are relatively stable in terms of political, but they have facing some issue in terms of leadership. Sometimes they change government in a short period of time, which is proven during the COVID-19 pandemic. They had changed three prime minister 3 times due to the issue of lack of trust from the public, from its cabinet, and also how the government handling of the COVID-19. But it also happened way before that, from 1990s, 2000, which is it's rarely that the prime minister hold to the office such a long time. So yeah, the political system in Japan is stable, but for the incumbent itself, it's not really a stable position to hold with. So for the legal system, like many other countries, Japan also have their own legal system, their penal code, and their own judiciary, and so on. So much of the legal system was adopted from the uh, British style and Western style legal system, which is being implemented since the Meiji era. So Japan has adopted this legal system since the Meiji era. It has been mentioned before. So uh, they have prosecution, attorney of generals, and hierarchy in the legal system. So this legal system is important as it dictates the law and order in Japan. And then also trials the criminal case that occur in Japan, settle the dispute that exists between some entities or some owners in Japan, and basically they are equilibrium of the um, society justice code in Japan.
Hi, my name is Nur Ashabati Yusof. My metric number is ACT0716. So today I would like to explain about conclusions in these assignments. According to the aforementioned literature, countries have different political, economic, and legal systems. Cultural custom as well as population's education and skill levels can vary substantially. All of these different can and do have massive consequences for international business operations. Japanese politics are handled within the framework of the dominant party's bicameral parliamentary constitutional monarchy, with the emperor serving as the head of states. Japan, for example, has a largely homogeneous culture. More than 98% of the population is ethnic Japanese, which has resulted from the bulk of the population having the same education experience and awareness of their environment. The Japanese economy is based on the concept of a well-developed free market. It is ranked third in the world in terms of nominal GDP, fourth in terms of purchasing power parity, and second in terms of the global size of developed economies. Japan, the world's third largest economy, is especially vulnerable to external shocks due to its reliance on exports. The worldwide economic crisis caused by the COVID-19 pandemic has had a substantial influence, but the country's economy is expected to return in 2021 with a projected rise 2.6% IMF due to strong exports, public consumption, and investment. The role of a lawyer differs in each country, yet there is increasing overlap. Lawyers in Japan typically function as defense attorneys, assisting with court matters but not playing as prominent a role in the procedures as lawyers in the United States. Furthermore, in Japan, written briefs take precedence over oral arguments. In contrast, in the United States, lawyers take the lead on oral presentations, witness examinations, and other activities that in Japan may be assigned to judge or others.